Today on the bench we have a dual 1019. I'm going to start off by saying I'm just going to be completely upfront and honest with you. I hate servicing dual turntables. It's my least favorite thing to do. My least favorite piece to work on. They can be beautiful turntables. This is a beautiful turntable, beautiful example of a dual. I mean, it's got a few little minor cosmetic issues. But, you know, if these things have been cared for over the decades, then, regular maintenance, then they're okay. But when they haven't been, and most of them have not been, serviced, maintained for 30, 40, 50, 60 years, right? They develop problems. And the problems are sometimes difficult to remedy. You're dealing with grease that's 50 years old that hardens like a rock. You're dealing with springs and levers, and sometimes those will kind of they'll get slightly bent. Now this one thankfully has a bottom cover, which is good, because if the bottom cover is not on there, like most of the ones I come across don't have the bottom cover on, you can set it down on something, things can get in there. So I'm gonna see what's going on with this one. The user, or the owner, sorry, I work in IT, so it's always user by default, but the owner reports that it's stuck in the stop position. So I'm not sure what that means. We're gonna fire this up and see what it does. The test record we'll be using Engelbert Humperdinck's After the Lovin'. Right, great record. Not really. Had my son pick out some test records from one of the shops we do work with, and he went right to the dollar bin and got me some gems. So we will just use this to see what's going on. We're not actually going to play this record. So it's plugged in, has power. It's going. So close. And the motor's not shutting off. There it goes, because it's not making its way all the way back to the tone armrest. So let's see what happens with this again. So let me put it to start. And that tone arm is coming up super high. So the record's playing. Not sure about the speed. Not sure if this will give us an idea. No, that's going to strobe. That's kind of what I was fearing. So I'll throw my RPM app on there in a minute, just once I figure out if there's oh man, almost made it there. And that shuts it off. So I suspect a couple of things. I suspect maybe, I mean, it's moving freely, but maybe there's some grease underneath here that's causing the issue. preventing it from making its way all the way back. Now, the owner said that it was stuck. Oops. Let's try this again. So there it's in position, and it's picking up. It's just not making it's making its way all the way back, and then it's just not dropping it exactly where it's supposed to drop it. And that does shut it off. So while I'm looking at it, let's see what the speed's doing. Get my RPM meter on my phone. Lock that. See how the speed is. Sorry, that lighting is a bit harsh on this. I was doing another video where I had to adjust the lights. So it's getting up to speed. It's at 32. It's just climbing up to, it's green now, so it's 33. It slowly gets up to speed. $33.29. Yeah, 33.3 is, now it just keeps speeding up. Just getting faster. Speed adjustment is turning the speed down a little. And this is a mechanical speed adjustment, so and it's gonna lock there, so stop, return, get a text on my phone. And it does not return all the way. So, and then the head shell just falls off. Why not? Did I do that? I mean, it shouldn't, I didn't do anything. I didn't move this little lever here. All right, so flip this over, see what's going on with it. So although the head shell kind of ejected itself, or the sled, I think this is called a sled. Remove that, lock the arm in place, remove the center spindle. I don't see a snap ring. There's a snap ring that holds this platter on. Oh, okay, it's just a heavy one. Oh my gosh, that platter is heavy. So remove this, get the platter out of the way. I don't know if I'm going to need my turntable or not, or my, yeah, I guess my turntable for this one. Let's see what's going on the bottom. Looks like there are, okay, just pop this off the top. It's been a while since I've worked on a dual, because I typically will not take them. This is for one of the shops, so I make an exception when they come in. I'll always look at them, but in terms of time spent troubleshooting these, usually it's not economical for the customer. And this thing is caked in grease on the bottom. Trying to get that out of the way. Oh, and the nicotine smell is wonderful. And I don't smoke, so I'm being sarcastic when I say that. So number one suspect, I think. I guess the number one suspect, if the tone arm isn't returning or going, if it's not returning all the way to the tone arm stand or stand, or it's not being dropped on the record. Let's say it's not moving, is the little Stewart pimple, which is underneath this pad there, and maybe this one doesn't have a traditional Stewart pimple. Again, I haven't worked on this one. I haven't worked on a 10. I don't think I've ever worked on a 1019. But to me, so I've worked on a lot of 1219s, and so what this one of the functions of, oh no, that's a lever that goes there. Okay. Sorry, just getting my bearings on this one. I thought there was a Stewart pimple, a little tiny rubber kind of grommet that sits on top of one of the posts that provides a little bit of friction so this plate can move the tone arm. This one uses this lever to move the tone arm. And what I need to figure out and look at is what happens when the tone arm comes back to the rest, and what would cause it to pull itself out. And this has been regreased. This isn't old stuff. This is new. I don't think it's lithium grease, but it's definitely not the old crusty stuff that you see. So someone has been in here doing some work to it. So I'm going to do an underneath view. I'm going to try to prop this up using some 2x4s or something, get a camera underneath it and see if I can kind of look at this mechanism and see what's going on. So this is the mechanism as looking up under where the tone arm sits. I've got this sitting on some blocks and it is super sketchy. So I'm going to hope that this doesn't fall. I mean, I'm going to be holding on to it. I just hope it doesn't decide to give way once I plug it in and power it on. We're going to see what this mechanism is doing underneath. Maybe we can pinpoint what the issue is. So there it goes. And it's going onto the record. It's spinning at 78 for some reason. I must have moved it when I was flipping this around. So that part looks good. I'm going to put it to the end of the record. See what happens. So it's returned it over the tone arm stand and it's starting to drop it, and it misses right there. All right. So it's sitting like this when it should be in this position. And I don't feel any resistance. I don't feel anything on the tone arm to make it, I don't feel anything like pushing it forward. I don't know, maybe the anti-skate settings, is it pulling it forward? Because that just drops it right there. Because it looks to me... I'll just change that setting and see what that does. It's all the way back. Nope. So again, it's just floating forward. I'm going to do this one more time. I want to put my finger on the tone arm when it returns, when it gets back to the base, to feel if it's being pulled or pushed, or if it's just kind of falling. So there it's going back. It's in position. Yeah, it's being pulled forward just a little bit. All right, so I'm gonna have to review this video, kind of see what's going on and see if I can make sense of what the potential issue is. After reviewing the video, and you probably saw this as well, it was kind of hard for me to make sense of it upside down. I inverted the video so I could kind of look at it from underneath, but it looked like maybe this tab here, which moves freely, right? This is free moving, turns it off and on. Possibly it's binding in this position, like binding on this pad that's underneath here. So there's a metal piece, that little hook section there, right? It kind of hooks on the pad, and I think maybe there's enough dirt or debris, or maybe there's no grease there. So what I want to do is just hit that with some rubbing alcohol, clean it off, put some lithium grease there, and see if that improves anything. If I can get that down in there. Oh yeah. So clean off the end of that piece and then remove the grease from that face of that lever. Clean that off. Because I think that's what's causing that little bit of resistance. It's hanging up right there and it's not allowing it to move, but that's just the theory at this point in time. Put a little bit of grease there. And yeah, so there's grease all over that face. We will, I'll put this back in position and give it a test run. Everything's back into its original position. Sled's on. It's not clipped to the base. Let's see what happens. Give this a... I really dislike dual turntables. Oh, this is out of whack over here. In position. Nope. Try it a couple times. Okay, so the tone arm is lined up over the rest. Oh, and it's getting closer. So maybe, I'm hoping maybe working that grease in there will loosen that up a little bit. Still getting close, but there's just that little, oh my goodness gracious. Did I mention how much I really don't like dual turntables? I mean, that should be a little bit tighter than that. I'll have to look at that and figure out what's going on with that too. Nope. One more time. Just to thoroughly frustrate me. One more time. Let's see where this is dropping. It's dropping in a good spot. I'm going to keep the nope, it's just 1/8 of an inch off. So I'm not sure what else to do on this. I don't know that I'll be able to get it any better than that. Just a word of warning to folks: if you buy a dual turntable, and you know this is true of vintage audio in general, when you buy a receiver, a turntable, you're buying a piece of equipment that's 40, 50, maybe even 60 years old. And even though someone may have repaired it, gone through it, unless they completely rebuilt everything, it's probably going to require some maintenance. So sometimes, you know, the expectation is, well, I'll buy this and it's just going to work. Well, that isn't reality, right? Reality is, if you bought a 1970, I don't know, Chevy Camaro right now and someone just replaced the brakes, right? It doesn't mean that you're going to be able to drive that cross country and not have some other issue pop up. Or, you know, you're not going to develop a leak in the next 6 months. So, and I know I'm on a soapbox here, but you know, there's you kind of need to understand what you're getting yourself into when you buy vintage gear. Because for me to completely disassemble this mechanism, which I won't do, because I won't do that on a dual turntable, and clean everything, is in the amount of hours of labor, it's easily worth double what this turntable is, right? Because I don't do duals. I'm not like a dual expert. You know, if I worked on these all the time, then maybe. But you know, this is $50, maybe a $200 turntable. Well, to dismantle everything, clean it, relube it, adjust everything, put every spring, lever, gear, clip back where it goes is going to take several hours, right? Several hours of testing and tweaking and all that stuff. So anyway, the customer brought it to me reporting that it was stuck in the stop position. So that was resolved. I noticed that this wasn't returning all the way. The customer didn't report that was an issue. I'll let him know when I return it. But the initial reported issue has been fixed, this additional issue, I'll have to see if he wants to go any deeper into it. If not, then I'll post the video of kind of the state it's in right now. If he does want me to do any additional work on it, then I'll add that to the video and upload it when I'm done doing everything I'm going to do to it. So if you like what you see, hit subscribe, hit like, and I'll see you next time. So I couldn't leave well enough alone, and I really hate sending these back, even if it is a dual turntable that I absolutely despise. So what I will do is I'm going to remove this clip here. The only other thing I could think of is maybe build up of grease here. This isn't moving. I mean, it's moving super free. So, but I'll clean this. I'll remove this C-clip from right there. And I'm going to pull that off, clean it with a bunch of alcohol, relube it, and then see what happens. I'll speed through that. So broke that mechanism apart, lubed everything, cleaned everything. I honestly don't have any other ideas at this point after flipping that over and looking at it for quite a bit of time. So let's see what happens. So that looks promising. Returns it all the way. Still doesn't want to hit that spot. So I, unfortunately, am out of ideas on this without really getting into the mechanicals. So I'll have to contact the owner, see what it is he would like for me to do. And again, if I post the video with this being the last segment, that means the owner did not want to put any more time or money into it. At least it's shutting off now. It's just 1/8 of an inch off. So let's see if leveling this out has any effect. Nope, in fact that made it worse. See if it gets close again. Go to stop, lift it up from there, see if that changes anything. Turn the anti-skate up to 1. Nope. Nope. And I'm out of ideas on this one. So again, dual turntables are wonderful if they've been maintained properly over the years. But I'm not a dual guy, so we'll see what the customer has to say about how much further he wants to go into repairing this.